everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Courtney. In today's video I am going to do this makeup look inspired by Faye Dunaway's character in Bonnie and Clyde. So watch all the way through to the end if you want to see. I'm going to add lashes to this, and I'm going to put on a wig that's a little bit more Bonnie. So if you like what you see, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I hope you enjoy this video. Thanks. I quit smoking. Anyway, so for this look, Faye Dunaway had absolutely beautiful skin. So I'm using a little bit of the Smashbox Primerizer just to get that nice even texture and a little bit of plump to the skin. I am going to use a little bit of, so I used the Smashbox Primerizer. Now I'm going to mix in the Lumi Glotion, which I've been loving, with the Vie de Lumière by Chanel. I really like this product because you need like half the size of a pea. So you'll have this bottle for over a year. I don't like to use a lot of foundation, so, and I'm mixing it with the Lumi Glotion, so spread that all over. This look is mainly, it's a lot about the skin, just perfecting the skin, and that beautiful like 1950s, 60s eyeliner, but it's not so much like a dark black cat liner. It's more of like a soft brown. It looks so gorgeous. Even though it's not Halloween anymore, I still like to know like the classic looks, and I'm a cinephile, so I love reproducing, like even for an everyday look. I'm gonna add lashes just to spruce it up a little bit because that was the time, but you can just throw on mascara and you're good to go. It just gives that really beautiful classic look that's not very hard to achieve, especially since I'll be using a pencil and not liquid liner. Liquid liner tends to, or for me, is a little bit more challenging because I feel like you're afraid of it being liquid and then drying and then being so precise. But pencil to me is a lot easier. Yeah, so I just used a little bit of the MAC Studio Finish Concealer like I usually do. So I used the color that's a little bit, it's basically the same color of my skin tone. And then I'm going to go in with a slightly lighter shade with a small brush and just applying it to that dark under puff. Because then that gives the illusion that it's more of a flat surface, that you don't have those under eye bags. Yay! And I'm just using this is a pretty like wide brush, but I'm just using the side of it to get in there. I'm also going to add a little bit of that lighter concealer underneath my brow. She had a pretty thin brow. My brows are pretty thin too, but just to add a little bit more of that highlight and to clean up any of those little brows, because I'm not trying to pluck anything because I've already plucked out the majority of them. I'm trying to get them to grow back. So I'm going to take a little bit of, this is the Le Teint Ultra Tenue by Chanel. Again, another powder that I'm never going to go through because I'm just using a very little bit. I'm using it on an e.l.f. brush. I love the shape of this brush. Fits perfectly like underneath, just to set that concealer, but also it's large enough that you can kind of just throw it all over the place just to set the foundation. I'm using very, very little because I want that luminous glow to come out, but I'm also going to be using powder products, so I want to have the powder ride on powder, so I'll put a little bit of that down first. Marc Jacobs Fantastic. I'm using a large fluffy brush And I'm just going to sculpt out the cheeks with that. I find a nice large brush. You're not there forever trying to get it on because I get bored pretty easily. So you kind of do that 3. Oh, that's not a 3. That. And since it's fluffy, it's not applying so much product all at once. Like that, a little in my temple, a little to my 8 head. And just to kind of chisel out that jawline. I'm not using any new products because I like to use up what I have, and I don't mind if, not that I don't mind, well, yeah, I don't mind like spending a little bit more money if it's going to be a good product and that I'm going to have it for a long time, so. Okay. So with that luminous skin I was talking about, Faye Dunaway, so lovely, I'm going in with the Dual Finish Highlighter by Lancome in Dazzling Bronze. And this is an even fluffier brush. So it's just gonna pick up a little bit and apply a little bit. So I'm just going over basically where I put the bronzer, because this is a bronze color, but it's also a highlighter, so it's not gonna get too dark. But I do want to add that, just that luminous glow to the skin. Then the Dual Finish Highlighter, but this is Sparkling Pesh. I am going in same brush, and I'm just going to use this to highlight. So it's right on top of the cheekbones. These are such good highlighters. A little bit down the bridge of the nose, and then what I like to do is take a little bit on my fingertip and just pop it at the edge of my nose, because then that makes it look like it's a little bit more sloped up. Next, so the Natasha Denona palette in the Mini Star palette. That's this one right here. Going in with this color. Like I usually do, just a little bit underneath the eyes to make the eye appear a little bit larger. And I'm just using a small fluffy brush. So right under there, and I'll bring that out. And this also gives you a guide because I'm gonna do a little bit of a winged liner. So this is how far I wanna take it out. So it'll give you just some more guidance. Teddy Pencil by MAC, which is a really pretty, like dark bronzy color. Sharpen. So I want to, it doesn't have to be too perfect, but I almost start underneath that bottom lash line and I just kind of draw that to elongate it, if that makes any sense. So I know that it's a good winged swoop for my eye shape. So if you don't know where to put your wing, just kind of follow what you naturally have going on, and that should help you. So then I'm going to take the corner here. I just pull it taut, and I want it to be pretty thick. So I'll just bring that down to the inner corner. So it looks like that. And then you just color it in. It doesn't have to be too perfect because I'm going to go over it with that same brown from the Natasha Denona palette that I used underneath my eye. But by putting a creamier liner down first, it gives the shadow something to hold on to, and it also keep your liner lasting longer throughout the day. Let's color that in. And you'll drive yourself crazy if you think that you're gonna make them absolutely perfect and symmetrical. just get it the best that you can. Most of the time, the people that are looking at you aren't going to be able to pick up on it. It'll drive you crazy, but just let it go. As I continue to do my eyeliner. So with that same color, that dark brown, and that same brush that I used for underneath, I'm gonna go in and just kind of set the liner. So that'll make it a little bit darker. It'll take some of that shine away, but that's okay. And it just softens it a little bit because I feel like her eyeliner wasn't that rigid. It was more of that soft look. There you go. Now I'm going to take a fluffy brush and I'm going to go in with this kind of like bisque shade. It's nice and matte. And I'm just going to go right almost above the crease. And I want that elongated so I'm not following my eye structure. I'm creating my own by adding in a contour that kind of changes the shape of the eye. I want to concentrate mainly in that middle crease, and then with what's left on the brush you can kind of bring it out and up and do a little bit underneath. And there you go. I also really like adding in, there's this sparkle, like a lighter sparkle, like beige, and I'll just pop that right into the inner corner of the eye. It's not going to be too bright, like next to the highlight, but it adds a really pretty dimension to the eye. I have a little bit too much in there, but no one cares. If you put too much like I did, just go back in with the brown. There. The look was more of like a doe eye look, so a bit more soft even though she was a killer. So go in with a white pencil. I'm using OCC, but it's probably not available anymore. Paris Berlin also has a really beautiful light liner. You can also get them at the drugstore. Just your basic lighter liner, because that's going to open up the eye and make it a little bit more doe-eyed. Nothing ready. Oh, it's the professional. I'm gonna go in with taupe liner from MAC, and I usually like a fuller brow, but the look that we're going for today she had more of a thinner brow. So I'm just using the side of my pencil and just building up a little bit at a time. And I want to elongate the brow because I elongated the eye. So I want this all to be very elongated. Fill in where I'm missing some hair. And just a little bit at a time. I don't like to like really draw it in. I just pepper it on until it starts to give me a shape rather than it looks like you filled in your brows. Blush. I'm using number 23, which is a cream blush from Chanel. And with a 188 brush from MAC, just applying it to the apples of the cheeks and a little bit higher, almost between your bronzer and your highlighter. Should we do lashes? Let's do lashes. I'm gonna use duo adhesive, and I don't even know if they still make these. These are called Sultrous Lashes by MAC. This is like old packaging. They're really old. But any lash will do. You just want something that's a little bit like Oops. A bit more put together, not too long, just a little bit shorter because it's more about like a dense lash. When I'm applying lashes, I'll either wrap it around, or wrap the lashes around my finger. There's a little bit adhesive, so it'll kind of stick, but that'll make it easier because it bends to the natural contour of your lash line. I don't know if they even make, oh, my makeup is so old. So this duo that I have has a wand and a brush, so you can either apply it directly, which I love, because it's usually in a tube and it's very difficult to not squirt it all over the place if you're me. But you can apply it either to your lash line or onto the lash line of the lashes. Cute. It's very vocal. I'm gonna let the duo or adhesive dry a little bit and get tacky. Oh my god, the sun. Alright, so then I will see, I drop it onto my lashes first and then maneuver it to get closer to my lash line. Gonna take a little while for the glue to completely dry, so you have a little bit of playtime. And again, you don't have to be perfect. Just get it as close as possible, especially with this kind of look, because you already have like a pretty dark lid color. Ooh. Oh, no. Hi. No. No. Probably show you what I'm doing. A little bit of, just a little bit. You don't need a lot. Make it a little bit tacky because you don't want it to have to completely dry on your eye, because then it'll keep on moving around. It'll get stuck to certain places that you don't want it to. You can even kind of do a little bit at a time. So anchor that where you want it to in the outer corner, and then you can maneuver it. Not maneuver it. You can then start sticking it to the inner corner. What I also really like about this duo with that little wand is sometimes your lash will flip. Oh, that looks terrible. Either in the inner corner or outer corner. This makes it easy to just kind of flip it up, apply a little bit more adhesive, and then lay it back down. I recommend bringing the glue with you wherever you go, because inevitably it's gonna pop up a little bit somewhere down the line. If you bring the adhesive, it won't. If you don't bring the adhesive, it will. So I should have moved this in a little bit so that it wasn't so long on the outside, but I don't care. Nobody else will either. Now, to blend it in seamlessly, if you want to keep your lashes longer, because you can reuse lashes, I would recommend putting your mascara on first, then the lash, and then kind of marrying the two together just by pushing those together. But I find that it'll look less like a false lash if you put mascara on it, because usually people are, if you're wearing makeup, people are used to seeing mascara, even if they don't even realize it. So I'll put a thin coat of it on first, and I'm mainly applying it to my natural lash, and then I'll go in press them together. This will also help your lashes stay on longer throughout the night. And then I'll go in at the tips and just apply it to the tips of the false lashes. Same on the other side. I'm using the Chanel Le Volume sample. But Chanel mascara isn't really that expensive when you, I mean, it's comparable to like Lancome and other, I think it's like $32. But I haven't found a drugstore dupe for a luxury mascara. Luxury mascaras that I found tend to do the job a lot faster and a lot better. So I will spend money on a good mascara. I'm also putting it on the bottom lashes too, because that also adds to that doe eye effect. Okay. Lips. Spice lip pencil. I like a soft, especially for this look because she had such a beautiful pouty lip, a soft line to the lips. So I'll apply the lip liner and then with my finger smudge it out, and that'll give like a softer look. Since I've found, this is Giorgio Armani, this is 102. I showed in a previous video the, I think it's like the 300 tangerine one, which is my obsession, but all of these are my obsession. This is a nude one, but it is the only lip gloss lipstick hybrid that I've ever found that stays glossy for like 6 hours. If you're not like mushing your lips together and you're like eating and kissing and everything like that. But if you just leave it alone, it will stay. But when you first put it on, it's pretty sheer and not as glossy. So you need to add, I would put a layer on, let it dry, add another coat. Let it dry. I don't know if I showed you that, but that's what it looks like. I love these. I want every color. They're so perfect. They smell a little funky. I don't know how good they are for you. But, oh, they're so beautiful. So beautiful. And it comes in a lot of different colors, but they're pretty expensive. But I find that I don't have to touch up as much throughout the day as I would with any other kind of like lip gloss, lipstick hybrid. So the more that you put on, the glossier it gets, and the more opaque that it gets. But that will stay that glossy. Perfect. It is perfect. Okay. So I think that's everything for the makeup. So now I'm going to put on my Bonnie wig, and I'll show you what the final look looks like. So this is the finished look. I guess it's more of if Bonnie and Clyde met Studio 54. A little bit more disco touch to it, but that's basically the look. I got this wig on Amazon. I don't even know where I got this sequin beret from. Just had it lying around the home. Alright, so that's everything. Please let me know if you like this video, if you like these kinds of makeup tutorials of just classic looks from cinema. Yeah, so please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching all the way through to the end. And I will see you in my next video. Thanks. Bye.